I wish to thank you for allowing me to answer to this very enlightened debate, and also thank each of the members who has spoken on this, spoken in mind, spoken in heart, given ideas from the brain, and therefore his whole body was involved in telling me how the railway as a body should be revitalized, revamped, and try to run faster than what it is.
Jairam Ramesh spoke with brain, Samanjay spoke with heart.
Yes.
Samanjay with mind.
All honorable members, I wish to thank you. And I really wish to thank each one of them for giving ideas and suggestions and a roadmap. And please allow me to reply to all this as at a proper length of time.
2 hours.
Of course, I don't mind even more.
2 hours.
Of course.
What are you doing? Derek, what are you doing?
No. But the train should not run late. So you should inform. You take 2 hours, we'll sit.
I will tell. But
Don't go by him. Don't go by him.
I will go by the chairs directly.
Yeah, please.
So I will also request members that there are so many members who have made suggestions about individual projects, individual constituency, individual states. I will not be able to reply each one of them today on that particular thing, but I will, when I answer this question, I am sure those answers will also come to them. But I have taken a note of each of the suggestions, including what has come from that side, this side, as well as my side, and will definitely take on board
Honourable
each
Minister,
and every suggestion.
Individual demands, you can reply to them
exactly.
also.
Yeah. We'll do that later. Sir, what is the expectation of anybody in India, or for that matter anybody who looks at railway? First, we should be able to have as many trains as possible. Each of the train must be as comfortable as possible. Each of these ticket of the train should be very affordable, and even if it is cheaper. So there are conflicting issues. Once we are saying that railway should be profitable, but passengers should not pay for it. So all of these are conflicting views, and which will have to take on board. How should we do it? At the same time, the speed of the train must increase. Same time, the train must run on time. The train must be safe. The travel has to be safe. We must be able to connect many more places. All of these are very, very just expectations. But to address this, we need a strategy, and we need a time, and we need a roadmap. And I would share with you, with your permission and with the participation of all of you, exactly what we are trying to do. And I'm really thankful to many, including the former railway ministers and others, for giving ideas on this. Sir, you will be, when I became the railway minister, I promised the Parliament that I'll put before a white paper on the challenges before the railway. Because these are not the challenges for a railway minister alone, they are the challenges for the India. And let everybody know about it. And I had also said that we'll not just lay down the challenges, but we'll also come out with a plan. And sir, in the first budget that I presented for 2014-15, we had laid down the plan, 15-16, we had laid down the plan, and I am very happy to say that 16-17, the budget was in continuation with the same roadmap, and 17-18, the budget which is now presented by the Honourable Finance Minister, merging the railway budget into it, is also in the same direction, taking the next step forward, realizing our overall vision of our Honourable Prime Minister. And sir, I must put it on record, he is the first Prime Minister of India who is trying to put so much of emphasis on development of railway. He has given full support for the development of infrastructure, he is giving all that is possible. So the entire weight of the government is behind the railways, I would like to assure the House. So therefore we like to make sure that with the participation of everybody we like to work on. Sir, few points, and it will be interesting to note. Sir, our 16% of railways network, 16%, 1/6, handles more than 60% of traffic. So just imagine 16% of overall network, though it is spread far and wide, handles 60% of traffic. So if we don't address that, many of these issues will not get addressed. Because 16% of network is not able to handle more traffic and present traffic, forget more traffic. And therefore many of the lines are saturated, they are used, overused, and in a way working at 150% of capacity in some cases. So we have to address this. If we start only new trains on the same track, which is not able to handle the present traffic, what is going to be happening? The trains obviously will be delayed. So we decided to work on this, and I am happy to say that the only way when it is saturated, what does it mean? that we cannot have one more line on this. We must have doubling, we must have tripling. Sir, I am happy to say that we decided to invest money into doubling, tripling of tracks, and the number of projects which have been sanctioned only last 2.5 years for doubling, tripling, etc. are 12,700 kilometers. 12,700 kilometers projects have been sanctioned in last 2.5 years in comparison to almost 15,000 kilometers which were sanctioned from 1947. So from 1947, we had sanctioned doubling, tripling projects. My good friend who initiated the debate, he's from Uttar Pradesh, made good point, and he's also happy agree that over a period of time, the network is used, overused, more trains are going, and obviously everybody is suffering. So if you don't change that, how are you going to do it? So we decided to invest into that. And this is affecting punctuality. It is affecting many other things. So now to do this, we obviously need money, and therefore I'll come to it. So we decided to invest on this. We decided to invest on track replacement. We decided to invest in technology. We decided to change internal processes, which many of them have pointed out, including some of the expert committees that you mentioned. Then all of this can be done very easily, but where is the money? Everybody is going to ask you, money is something available, we can do wonders. But how to find money? The first time in India's history, we have been able to find more money for the railways than any time in the past. And this is something doing outside budgetary provision. I will answer Jairam Ramesh's question, very valid question. I will answer it later over a period of time. But the point is, raising resources was very important. I will give this year's budget. 1,31,000 crore is the budget outlay for the railways. How much is coming from gross budgetary support? 55,000 crores. So where is the balance money coming? This is what we raised, and how much we have raised. If you add the last 2 or 3 budgets, last 2.5 years, the total capital expenditure for the railways is now going to be 3,50,000 crores. 3,50,000 crores is the capital expenditure of the railways, which in turn will address all the issues, which I said, we want doubling, we want tripling, we want electrification, we want speed, all of this needs money. And therefore, for the first time, we decided to find money for the railways investment going beyond a traditional source of only coming from the railway, the main budget. And therefore, we are able to now cater to this. So this is one of the major interventions of changing the mindset thinking to bring in more and more financing from different ways. So and there are various ways of financing. We can do PPP, if possible I will come to it also. We increase the speed of implementation. I will explain to you in a minute how much we are increasing. And we also are addressing the issue public service obligation, which again, if time permits, I will explain. So I will just putting the issues now into some perspective. Sir, the investment in railways as a percent of GDP, which has gone down considerably over a period of time. And not only it has gone down in relation to railways, but worse is that it has gone up in comparison to the roads. For example, in 1991, the railways investment was 2%, roads was 4.25%. In 13-14, investment in railways came down to 1.5% and roads increased to 6%. Now, if you are asking me a question, why are we losing freight? Why are we losing the revenue streams? The answer is obvious. If you create a parallel competitive infrastructure which is going to compete with the railway, obviously the investment in railway is going down, the investment in the competitive sector is going up, you are bound to lose the revenue. And therefore, to reverse the trend, we have to increase the investment. And that too, a railway is a far more environment-friendly mode of transportation. The greenhouse gas emission of the railways are far less than the road sector. And not only that, to make sure that we make it even better, we have decided to make the railways far more greener. We are changing the entire energy mix of railways. We are trying to bring in more solar power. All that I will tell later. But I am just saying is, this is something which is the cause of underinvestment in railways, and not only underinvestment, investment in wrong places. If you had invested into changing, doubling, tripling, declogging the railway network, would have benefited immensely. And sir, we always get enamored by other countries. Some people mention about it. China was investing 0.7% of GDP into railways in 2005, and we were investing 0.4%. In 2012, I don't want to give the figures, all the figures, China increased the share of investment railways to 1.3%. And our share dropped to 0.3% in 2012. It has got dropped further in 2014. We are first time, we are trying to reverse the trend, trying to invest more into the railways. I am far away from catching up with China. That's so far away because Chinese are investing almost $140 billion into the railways every year, whereas my plan of $140 billion, which I unveiled with first budget, people were little skeptical, but we are fortunately on track to do that. So, sir, we are investing in the right places, making sure that the challenges of railways which are mentioned in the white paper addressed, and all of this will give rise to solving the problem that have been mentioned by all the members about speed, about new trains, about more delays, and all of this will get addressed when you address the structural issue, the root cause of this. And that is what we are trying to do. Sir, as I mentioned, we prepared a comprehensive plan of 8.5 lakh crores for 5 years. How are we going to finance it? That was the issue. Sir, we have raised 1.5 lakh crores from the Life Insurance Corporation, and we have linked it to 1 or 2 basis points above the GSEC rate, the government security rate. Luckily, interest rates have come down, so our interest that we are borrowing also has come down. Now just tell me, we are railway investment, if it is not done from only one source, and then we keep suffering because we keep arguing that we must get more money, but money is not coming, and then issues will get exasperated, they'll get worse. So we have decided to invest into railways and borrowed it. Yesterday, we had a round table with World Bank and all the multilateral agencies. They are willing to look at railways investment. They are saying it's a very necessary investment for many reasons. Environment reasons, social reasons, economic reasons, and many others. And when the GST is coming, and all of you, I'm sure, will pass it tomorrow, or as you decide the day. But as we pass, when we have an integrated tax market, fiscal situation, the barriers will go away. Why not we then create a railway network which can take advantage of this and will be able to connect physically. When we opened up the borders from different states, we can be able to connect physically. So railway is a great opportunity. We are investing this, and to do this, we are also coming out with joining hands with the state government. So state government, the presumption is that we have a lot of money and states have a lot of money. The situation is that all of us are running fiscal deficit. Obviously, that means nobody has money. By the country as a whole, we must find out new ways of financing infrastructure, not just railways, because infrastructure cannot be financed from the current revenue of any organization. Nowhere in the world we are able to create infrastructure from the current revenue. Even in China, all the infrastructure Chinese railways are creating, all the infrastructure Japanese railways created, all the infrastructure European railways have created, American railways, they are all borrowed money. And therefore, to do that, we must have a means of doing it. So I requested the states that why you want to put 50%, 50%, you don't have 50%, I don't have 50%. So we keep arguing. Like one of the members said that Karnataka government has given this, but at the ground, there are always a problem. So we decided that we'll make a new model, make debt equity based joint venture companies. First time we'll share ownership with the state. 50% they will take, 50% we take. Balance amount can be leveraged by 3 to 4 times by taking debt. So the special joint venture companies will be able to execute project on a much faster pace. I am happy to say that 16 states are agreed in principle. We are progressing, including state of Kerala. The present chief minister has also agreed, many other states have agreed. So it is bipartisan, nothing to do with politics. And this will ensure that we will be able to undertake projects on a massive scale. I will go to a little later to find out how much we are given to the states. But with this, you cannot imagine how much more we will be able to do. How we will be able to increase the speed, which again I will share with you in a minute. Sir, average capex, as I said, was 46,000 crore. In the course of 2009-14, as you know, we are in the government. We have made 3,50,000 crore allocation only in last 2.5 years. So just imagine the present, future, the past capex. Would it have helped us to do better, or this new increase has to be able to do it better because we are resorted to different challenges? Sir, I am sure, and this is right expectation of all the members, and therefore, if you permit me, I will just read very quickly the allocation that we have made for each state, and these are all the representatives of various states. So Andhra Pradesh got 3,408 crores in this year's budget, which was average in 2009-14 was about 2009-14 was about 886 crore. So the increase is 284% more. Bihar for 2006-17-18 3,696 crore. I am not even adding 15, 16, 16, 75. The figure will be, your mind will really be very happy. In 2009 to 2014, the average amount given to Bihar was 1,132 crore. So increase is 226%. Chhattisgarh has got getting 311%, now got 3,676 crores. Why? Because a lot of minerals are lying there. If you can evacuate them by creating infrastructure, same is the case with Jharkhand and others, we'll be able to do that. So based on purely commercial consideration, based on the possibility of state's growth, we are doing this increase of 1,080%. Delhi is of course not but small amount, but 444 crores, which is what used to be only about less than 100 crores. Gujarat, 3,994 crores, they used to get about 588 crores, so increase of 578%. Haryana has got 1,247 crores, which was getting 214 crores in that 5-year period. Himachal Pradesh was getting only 108 crores, has got now 375 crores in the 17-18 budget. Jharkhand has got 2,583 crores, which was 457 crores, 5 years average, increase of 464%. Karnataka has got 3,174 crores, which get 835 crores before, increase of 280%. Kerala was getting 371 crores on an average. Now the increase, this year budget, 1,206 crores. Maharashtra, 1,171 crore average for previous 5 years, 5,958 crores for the current year. Madhya Pradesh, 632 crores, the 2009 to 14 average, now 5,376 crores, increase of 750%. Assam and northeastern states. You are asking me about Assam and northeastern states. The average was 2,121 crores under 2009 to 2014, has become 5,586 crores only in 17-18, which is increase of 163%. Odisha, a state which many of you have talked about, was getting 838 crores, now 5,102 crores. Why again? For the same reason. Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha are the mineral rich states. If you can extract the minerals, avoid the evacuation, revenues will rise, railways will benefit, the state will benefit, people will benefit, jobs will be created. Punjab was getting only 224 crores, has increased to 1,281 crores, increase of 469%. Rajasthan was getting 3,495 crores, it was getting 682 crores, the present allocation is 3,495 crores. Tamil Nadu, and Mr. Ilangovan was asking me, 878 crores was the average for the previous 5 years, that 2009 to 2014, has become 2,287 crores, which is increase of 160%. And also Uttar Pradesh, my good friends are there, Naresh Agarwal is there, so we have to take care. Yes, the 1,109 crores was the allocation for Uttar Pradesh between 2009 to 2014, average per year. Has become 7,118 crores has been the increase in Uttar Pradesh in the course of this year's budget, 7,118 crores. In case of Uttarakhand, 187 crores.
भाई नरेश जी, इतनी तो चिंता यूपीए सरकार ने भी यूपी की नहीं की जितनी हमारी सरकार आगे कार्य करती है। जरा बताइए तो
आपको तो वैसे भी यूपी की चिंता विशेष तौर पर ऐसा रिश्ता है हमारा, आपका रिश्ता ऐसा है, आपको वैसे चिंता करनी चाहिए।
Uttarakhand, 187 crores for the average, 566 crores. So Telangana, newly created state, so there is really speaking no comparison with that state. But I will just tell you what we have done. 2016-17, 790 crores, and this year, 17-18, 1,729 crores for this. West Bengal, one of the most important states, all my friends are sitting here, used to get 2013-14, 1,604 crores. 2014-15, 2,907 crores. 2015-16, 3,615 crores. 2016-17, 3,820 crores. And 17-18, 6,000 336 crores.
Bravo.
It is increase of 295%.
Mantriji, just here. Thank you. Thank you. The Mantriji is yielded. I listened to all the numbers, and that is one way of presenting the numbers. And my simple question during his speech is that those numbers are whole numbers. Please present the same numbers as to what percentage of the projects, if somebody has a project of 100 owed and you have presented 32, if you put the percentages down, that will give you a clearer picture. The Mantriji has his right, he is the minister and not us. He has presented the actual numbers. Through all these states, if you take what was the number of the projects and what percentage has been given to the Mantri. So one more clarification which you can address as a percentage. Right. The second question, since he mentioned that the railways has taken this quantum leap, my second question, sir, and you please address this, is why and how come that this is the first time since 1978, because this budget got together, for the first time since 1978, that the freight earnings of the railways has gone down year over year. These two questions, sir.
Sir, अभी मेरे को present तो करने दे सर बात में. Sir, let me complete it because sir, this is.
He has to agree. He has to yield. If he doesn't yield, he yielded to him.
Let me.
He is not yielding to you because he gave you more money. No, he gave you more money, so he is not yielding to you. What can I do?
Sir,
You see?
Complete, I will, sir. Sir, I will tell you. Though it is not. It is just.
Not yielding. Not yielding.
Sir, firstly,
not yielding.
Sir,
Not yielding. Not
Sir,
yielding.
firstly, I am very impressed that with meager amount of 1,604 crores in 13-14 for West Bengal, you were able to complete all the projects. That's what your argument is. So please try to understand. To complete the, please now don't, I just listen to me, I will tell you. So to complete the shelf of long projects, which have been going on for years, sir, I am really telling you, in the interest of the country, the Prime Minister had decided also we are working on that vision of completing all existing projects without getting into politics of it. And therefore I am saying, only way to do it is increase allocation. Can we increase the project by saying that my allocation only 1,604, that will complete all the projects in how many years? And you keep announcing new project. So this is what we refrain from doing. Focusing on completion of existing projects. And therefore I am giving the number of increasing the outlay only for that purpose, to make that. And on the freight I will come to it a little later. Sir, and I want to take all of you into confidence. Therefore, sir, this is a book. These are two books, with your permission, I would like to table on the floor of the House, which will give an idea about what we are really trying to do and what you mentioned about the vision, what are the things that we want to do over a period of time in the next 2 years, 17, 18, 18, 19, which will actually take all of you as partners to make it happen. Because this is a real challenging issue in terms of railways doing well, and as your expectation, you have seen, there is no other institution from which you have so much of expectation. So I would request you, and I will place it on the table of the House. Sir, there are certain changes which even the former railway minister mentioned, and he said there are committees and expert committees who have gone through it, essentially talk about reforms. So firstly, any reform to succeed, we must know the cause of the problem. If you go by only one line of thinking that I must do something because there is a problem, if you don't identify the problem correctly, you will never get a solution properly. And therefore, our reform that we are working on, the strategy that I talked about, is purely based on diagnostics, which I just mentioned, few of them, but white paper has more, and working on each of them in a right manner. We need regime. So it's the time that we must focus. If I change the track again, and I said, no, next year onwards I will going to put in this particular state, because this is my home state, I will put there. It's not going to work. So therefore, we have to work on it consistently for the next 5, 7, 8 years, and I'm sure with that we'll see a substantial in the first round is over in the next 3 years, but also subsequently. So our reform is based on certain ideas, and I will just list a few because you asked and many others asked about what reform. One is the transparency. Sir, I'm very happy that we are really working on a completely transparent operation in the railway. I'm not saying it is free from any problem. It has so many may be there, but I will tell the direction. So firstly, we said that the entire commercial decision-making process should not be handled by the minister himself. So the first thing I did was, all the tenders, all the budget, all the commercial decisions are now delegated to the general managers or to the others. So this is something which is a fundamental change, and the accountability has been fixed. And when we did that, we also did one thing immediately after that, after some time, that key performance indicators, key result area for each of the functionaries in the railway, like the general manager, has been fixed, and he has to account for it in every month. So there are 12 KPIs, key performance indicators, which they will account for, and the MOU has been signed with them. So this would mean that we'll be able to get it, and thanks to this, is a great vision of our Prime Minister to make it digital. So digitalization will help us a great deal. We are working on a massive digitalization process. Sir, I would like to take all of you into confidence. We are working on a enterprise resource planning, which we called the expert day before yesterday, on Tuesday. All the top experts, the TCS, the top global companies, all of them were there. Sir, the huge benefit that will come to the railways will be that, according to the experts, I am not even, so please take my statement as given by the experts, not by me, because this needs to be properly vetted. But they are saying the savings could be even as high as 60,000 crores over a period of time. So that is what will bring in a transformation to the railways in a big way. But digital process, again, sir, with your permission, I would like to place before you. The second point that we decided, and you asked me about it, is accounting reform. Sir, accounting reform, as was mentioned, as was suggested, as was recommended by several expert committees, talked about changing the government system from cash to accrual, from single entry to double entry. This is a reform, undoubtedly, but not a reform that will give us the real benefits. So we said we'll start with outlays, output to outcomes, and if we can capture and integrate the management accounting system, costing, bookkeeping, and MIS into all this, we'll be able to get a real result. I am happy to say we started working on it. Again, I will, with your permission, I will place it on the floor of the House. We actually have started rolling out this in one division. Hopefully, over a period of time, we will be able to do it all over India. And this will be, again, bringing in substantial benefit. That is what we talk about accounting reform. The third point which you asked me about the regulatory framework, we have actually progressed quite a bit. I hope in the next few, very short, soon, we will be able to conclude it. Second thing we are doing, which I have announced in my budget speech, is developing a project development organization for development and planning of the project. This will address, you asked me that question. This will help us to actually institutionalize the structure of project implementation. And what Derek is asking me will be addressed properly, because project implementation there will be institutionalized. We'll be able to do it. In fact, I already asked the member engineering to prepare a map whereby can we think about creating a project team which will implement the project, and that project team will not be disturbed till the life of the project. So there will be accountability. The project will be completed. This whole issue of shelf projects which have not been happening for a long time will be addressed. So we need institutionalized structure. It is not a political issue. This needs to be handled in a political, in the proper manner. And board level changes, we also done significantly. And in fact, there are some member tracks has been newly created. So we are trying to institutionalize, but of course, I am very sure there are a lot of more things to be done over a period of time. But this is a beginning in that process. Sir, then we talked about delegation, which I said. So now the GM to DRM. First time we have some station managers, station masters as you should call, have been redesignated as station director. So they will be responsible for handling responsibility in a one particular person. Same with some trains, we have started one person responsible for it. All of this again I had announced in my budget speech, and which is already under implementation. We are creating a new organization called Sutra for R&D, and also trying to create a new cell in the railways first time, and I was taken to confidence. It's called Transformation Cell. Sir, we organized under the vision of the Prime Minister 3-day event called Rail Vikas Shivir. We got all the employees of the railways, and you know there are 1.3 million people. All of them at local level, they participated in the preparation of this. We got our fellow travelers like contractors, others to also give ideas. And based on this, we organized a Rail Vikas Shivir for 3 days in Delhi, which Prime Minister himself inaugurated and also concluded. In that, new ideas which have come up, we have created a transformation cell which will directly report to Chairman Railway Board with fully empowered authority to implement some of these ideas. And in fact, we are given them specific ideas which are the challenges of the railways to implement this. And this again will really bring in the different kind of approach. As I said, we must also have the tools, the internal audit will be one of them. So some of the reform measures are essentially directed to working on making sure that organization becomes accountable, becomes open, transparent, efficient, and able to deliver on time with proper responsibilities. So state joint venture companies which I mentioned, we have already gone ahead with many more states, and I am now happy to say that not only we have delegated powers, 100% e-procurement has been achieved. Almost all tenders will be on e-tendering platform, and all the even including collection of scrap, disposal of scrap will be done in a completely transparent manner, and that's what, sir, we are working on. Sir, many members asked me this question, and it's a very important question as to what is the speed at which we are working, what is this? Sir, previously, we used to commission about 1,500 kilometers of broad gauge line per year. We made it to close to 2,000 kilometers 2014-15, 2,008 kilometers in 2015-16, and 2,008 kilometers this year, and 3,500, almost 10 kilometers a day is the target. But sir, I am going to tell you, and this is what I am requesting all of you, this is the vision, this is not something which has happened. Suppose with the state joint ventures, what is going to happen? Each state will have a separate staff, separate board of directors, separate bandwidth to implement a project, which is a prerequisite for implementation, separate financial closure, because all the banks are preparing project and then only we are going to implement a project. Sir, even if each state implements only 10 kilometers a day, and 10 state joint ventures do that parallelly, simultaneously, with all the local issues like law and order, forest clearance, many issues which come up locally, they are addressed because state is a partner now. Sir, imagine what would be the speed of implementation of the project. So this is what we are trying to do, which is again going to happen after 3-4 years, but this is the direction which we are moving, so we are laying the foundation for tomorrow. So electrification, earlier was 1,200 kilometers per annum. In 15-16, we made it to 1,730 kilometers, and in the current year already we will do 2,000 kilometers, and the next year will be 4,000 kilometers. Not only will double it, and in the next 5 years, we have already allocated everything. In the next 5 years, we will double the electrification than what we have done in the course of last so many years. Northeastern capitals, all of them have now been connected by the broad gauge network, and this is also working on Eastern and Western DFC, and the new 3 DFCs will be started, and I am very happy to say that dedicated freight corridor, some people ask me, 2009 to 14, the expenditure, the tender that were given in dedicated freight corridor were 2,600 crores per annum. In 15-16 alone, we gave tenders finalized for 24,000 crores. So just imagine from 2,600 crores to 24,000 crores to achieve the closure of this in the course of next few years' time. And the unmanned level crossing, we are going to remove all in the next 3 years' time. So we are actually working on many of these, including some people ask me the question about suburban railways. We already finalized the new suburban transport policy. We'll work with the states to make it happen. And therefore, sir, I am very happy to say that against the average of 2.3 kilometers a day in the last 64 years, the all-time record of completion of 2,828 kilometers of new lines of 7, that is close to 8 kilometers a day, was achieved in 15-16, and we are hoping that by 2020, we'll reach about 19 kilometers a day, in addition to the state joint ventures that I talked to you about. So this is what we need to do to make sure that northeastern region, for example, my friend has asked me and my colleague who is also Minister of State from that place, in 14-16, in northeast, we did a 995 kilometers per commission. By March 17, we would have converted all meter gauge routes in the northeast region. Target to connect all, as I said, 2020. And Bogeybill Rail-cum Road Bridge, the longest rail bridge which you asked me the question, will be completed on Brahmaputra probably in this year itself. So this is what we are trying to work, and in fact my colleague, so please. So this is what we are trying to do. We are also trying to reduce the project appraisal time, which is to take 2 to 3 years, to almost 6 months. We have started web-enabled track management system to improve asset reliability. We are working on EPC contracts, in not all, but we are proliferating it so that world-class contractors can come, and train protection warning system is also being introduced. Sir, I am also happy to say that the major work that people are expecting is now already there, and therefore this is also going to be part of the report, so I don't want to repeat again this part. So many people ask me, why don't you use good technology? Sir, let me explain to you, and the safety is related to this also, one issue. The safety is a function, and particularly derailment, which again happened this morning, is an issue related to track and the wheel. The interaction between track and the wheel is a problem. So the track modernization needs new machines. There is a possibility that we can actually detect a crack in the track by having a machine, which is already ordered and they are working on it. Same way, rolling stock, which is something which has not happened. So we have taken a giant leap in doing this rolling stock manufacturing in a big way. We already given, my Bihar states will be happy to know that 2 projects in Madhepura and Merohar for 40,000 crores of order book has been awarded, and 1,200 wagons per annum and rehabilitation of 300 wagons per has been set up in Kulti in West Bengal, and retrofitting of existing 50,000 ICF coaches. See, people are asking me question about coaches. 50,000 coaches, outdated, not functioning properly. We already decided to work on this in a war footing. Next 3-4 years we'll have to do it. We have stopped manufacturing of ICF coaches. We'll only do LSB coaches, which are safer, and therefore this is what we have started. And also manufacture 80,000 forget wheels per annum, and for that we have signed an agreement with Ispat Nigam Limited to actually make this happen. We are also working on new train products like Humsafar, Tesha, but that I will come to later. Electrification. Sir, I was saying that for faster electrification project, which we want to now double in the next 2 years, double in the next 5 years, we have already given this to different companies on EPC basis, and this will really bring in a great change, because electrification would mean the cost can go down, good for environment, speed can happen, and this is a major ambitious project that we have decided to take it. Sir, for this, a good map has been prepared for technology. With again your permission, I would like to place it before the table it on the floor of the house so that people can read it. Sir, some people have asked me the question. Sir, the people have asked me the question about the railways profitability. Sir, as you know, the railways have only 2 traditional sources of income. One is a freight and one is a fare. The freight is 2/3 of the revenue and fare is 1/3 of the revenue. We decided to create first time a non-fare revenue directory, which I announced in my budget speech, which has been set up. We have prepared a plan for earning 17,500 crores from the non-fare revenue, which is significantly. Japanese railways get about 30% of the revenue from the non-fare revenue. So we decided to do it. And for that, a non-fare revenue policy has already been put in place. Non-fare revenue director has been created. And this is going to give us a very important source of revenue. This will bring train banding, which will give us more than 2,000 crores. Out of home advertising, which can give us 6,000 crores. Content on demand and rail ratio, almost 6,000 crores. ATMs on railway stations for the banks, 2,500 crores. Integrated app, which can give us money. So all of this is a strategy for this. And we already started vinyl wrapping of all trains. In fact, the Minister of Steel, who started with us, and we are working on it. We are trying to work on monetizing entire railway zones, including residential office issues. We have started a rail radio. We are thinking of website, app monetization, monetizing through passenger services, monetizing garbage disposal, data monetization, exports, station development, commercial exploitation of land, product displays, and monetization through Swiss charge. For which a station development program, which is a very ambitious program, which can give us a significant income of with 1 lakh crore investment. We already launched it. We largest transit program for 1 lakh crore, and we are going. Habibganj has already been handed over for development. Gandhinagar in Gujarat, the Prime Minister laid the foundation on 9th of January. 3 more stations, Surat, Anand Vihar and Bijwasan, at final stages of award. And first phase of 23 stations has already been decided. So this will be almost 140 acres of unencroached land with 3.3 million footfalls are being offered. And sir, again, to get all of you involved, I would request you, and also with your permission, I am tabling on the floor of the House. For the freight, which my members asked me, and including Derek, I think he has gone, he was asking me about freight. Sir, it is a fact that our freight declined in the last year, and even the year before last. And therefore, we took number of initiatives for bringing the freight rationalization. Sir, this is something which is a significant change, because the railways freight, first time it dropped, because the core sector growth was tepid. The handling, the import and exports globally had gone down, and therefore that affected us. But we created a policy, and happy to say that the first time in January, मैं जो स्पीड से ट्रेन चलनी चाहिए ऐसी आपकी उम्मीद है, उसी स्पीड से बोलने की कोशिश कर रहा था। तो फ्रेट रैशनलाइजेशन करने के लिए किए, की कस्टमर मैनेजर को अपॉइंट किया, लॉन्ग टर्म सर्विस एग्रीमेंट साइन किए गए, पायलट कंडक्टेड फॉर टाइम टेबल फ्रेट ट्रेन्स, 37 sidings to be commissioned by March. These are all the measures which were taken, which has resulted in first time our January-February loading of 1,401 kilometer was highest this year than any on January to March. So therefore, we are expecting much higher revenues in the coming year. Though it is true that in the fare we are lost out in terms of that. In fact, in this year we will get a highest ever loading of 1,105 million tons. Last year, our freight earnings were 1,09,000 crores. This is because of less coal. But passenger earnings highest this year are 47,000 crores. Non-fare revenue is 14,000 crores. So these are all the significant changes, despite the fact that this year was a difficult year because the pay commission, highest burden of pay commission fell on the railway because we are the largest number of people. So the cost went up considerably and the revenues did not rise because of the tepid growth rate. So obviously the operating ratio was affected, but we are working on it, and also with a new possibility of dedicated freight corridor happening by 2020, with a new non-fare revenue going up, with new freight rationalization policies showing results, we will be able to get even much better freight in the next year, and for which, though the budget was not presented, sir, what we did was, when the budget was presented, one member was saying, Mr. Ilangon, that we used to know about new trains, everything. We have prepared a business plan for 16-17, which is no budget is prepared, still we have prepared it. And with your permission, I will place it on the table of the House for exactly what we are trying to do. And yes, sir, we are trying to work on passenger amenities. In fact, again, my...
Can do outside.
Derek asked me question, but when they are running. So, sir, in this year, you asked me about the freight, Derek. I gave the numbers, but you are busy doing, but I will just tell you something interesting. Among the top freight railways in the world, the US and the Chinese railways have shown a decline of 8 to 9% in their total handling since 2008. And the Russian railways by 4.2%, Australian and Canadian railways by about 2% over the levels in 2008. So this has been declining generally, but we are, in case of China for example, Chinese railways have carried only about 2,200 metric tons of freight as against 2,614 tons by 2014 and 2,859 tons in 2013. So from there going down, but despite that, we have been able to manage, and I am very happy to say that we are trying to do everything possible to make sure that railways benefit from new policies that we are just unveiled and we are talking about. But revenue is only one way of doing it. We can look at the other way to increase the profitability. Cost is another one. So first thing we did was, the second highest cost in the railway is the cost of energy. Sir, our target is to save 41,000 crores of energy costs in the next 10 years' time. We have already prepared a plan. We are going for 1,000 megawatts of solar. We are going for wind energy. We are going for energy efficiency. We are going for not only energy efficiency, only of traction, but non-traction power. At all levels, we are trying to bring it. And this will bring in a significant improvement into it, including using the distribution licenses that railways under the Electricity Act 2003, changing the energy mix towards renewables, induct energy efficient technology, and 7,000 stations with the potential to tap solar power will be done. 300 stations have already been provided with solar plants. We plan to install 1,000 megawatts of solar and 200 megawatts of wind power in the course of next 5 years. By intelligent use of various options available, we have been able to save 1,400 crores. When I became the railway minister, I was also responsible for introducing the Electricity Act. So we used the provisions of that and saved so much for the railway. So we are going in for LED lights on a comprehensive basis. So we created an environment directorate to also save on water. So this is very interesting. So water is something we never think it's a cost, because there is something which is available. We decided to restore all the water bodies, water efficiency, water recycling. I'll just give one example. There is one well, 200 years old, because I ordered, everybody started restoring it, has resulted in creating, I think, 5 lakh liters or something per water a day, saving railway at 2 to 5 crores, depending upon the price, every year, only on one well. So just imagine, the environmental initiatives will also pay you off in terms of economic gain. So we have created environment directorates and we are working on it. Sir, many members, rightly so, raise issue of safety. And very correctly. I must again give you the result of safety and what exactly is the situation. So number one, accidents per millennium 10 kilometers, which is an important index of safety globally, has come down from 0.23 in 2006-07 to 0.11 in 2014-15 and further to 0.10 in 2015-16. But doesn't mean that I am happy with this, because we would like to work on a zero accident. But I am just giving this into perspective, for which, as I said, we have taken a number of measures. Firstly, changing the rolling stock, making sure that the tracks are properly renewed, and in fact, I hope I have the number, how much track renewals we have done in the course of last year. In fact, this year, we have provided for 10,000 crores for track renewal. And by end of this, there will not be any backlog for track renewal left. With modernization of rolling stock, which will also help significantly. But today, this morning, unfortunately, there was an accident, 8 coaches were derailed. 1 was injured with little fracture, etc. 12 were simple injuries. But we don't want to accept this as a reality, for which we have created Rashtriya Rail Suraksha Kosh for almost 1 lakh crore. And in this itself, we will be able to avoid the entire unmanned level crossing. And sir, somebody asked me this question, very correct question. I think one of my friends asked me. On track renewal, in 2015-16, we renewed 2,500 kilometers for the target. But we actually renewed 2,794 kilometers. The budget was 5,426 crores. In 2017-18, track renewal works have now been upgraded to close to 3,500 kilometers and anticipated cost of 10,163 crores. This is what we allocated for this, and this 1 lakh crore safety fund will also be used for making this. So though the accidents have gone down, but the recent changes, and therefore in fact I am very worried about some of the cause of the accident. The National Investigation Agency is investigating into it. We will make sure that with participation of state governments, with participation of other law enforcing agencies, with the participation of state governments, we will be able to work on it. But to make that, as I said, and somebody said, why not use technology? So ultrasonic flaw detection is for weld. You asked me that. We are trying to use that. We are not yet using, but now we are going to use it. Vehicular USFD system, self-propelled ultrasonic rail testing. Also, the sport car which goes ahead and finds out. Composite slippers, trial of ultrasonic broken rail detection system. To avoid collision, automatic train protection system. Vigilance control device, simulator-based training, train protection warning system. For rolling stock, as I said, center buffer coupler and proliferation of LHB coaches and retrofitment of CBC on ICF courses. All of these are the type of technologies which are started using or in the process of using, because without this, we will not be able to avoid the accidents arising out of human error. So we are trying to work on this. Sir, also the important part, and everybody obviously raised the issue about passengers. So the passenger amenities are very important.
Suresh, how long will it take? How long?
Full time.
Half an hour?
Sir, on so passenger experience, we decided to launch a new product. One we launched was Mahanama Express, which was again, my friend, we started from UP Mahanama Express. And we also started Deen Dayalu coaches, which has a lot of fitting, which will help the common man to travel by this. We also started Antyodaya Express. We also launched Humsafar Express and Tejas, which is going to be a very high-speed railway. And Uday will be launched. Tejas will be launched in the next few months. Uday might take a little longer. We are developing an app to provide integrated service to passengers. All services could be available on one integrated app. So we are working on that. Wi-Fi has been provided on 115 stations, which will help Derek a great deal because he always uses a lot of handheld. So Wi-Fi will be available at 115 stations. SMS beds, Clean My Coach service has been started. Special social media has been used to give voice to the customers. New catering policy has just been announced, which will be bringing in difference between cooking as well as distribution. Distribution will be done by the professionals. Capacity of e-ticketing increased from 2,000 tickets per minute to 15,000 tickets per minute. We are also working on cancellation and refund of tickets made easier to promote cashless travel. No service charge on reserved tickets booked through IRCTC. More than 3,000 POS machines have been installed and more than 1,200 locations have been covered, and free insurance up to ₹10 lakhs is offered. We have started giving escalators because not the case earlier. The percentage of cashless has gone up to 68% on the railways reserved booking. So I am very, very happy to say this. I really can thank the Prime Minister for coming out with this. We are also working on, already started the first Gatiman Express, and my good friend from Rajasthan will be happy. Of course, it goes to UP, to Agra, but 160 kilometers in line with the theme of Sugamay Bharat and to make railway station modern, friendly. 316 escalators and 178 lifts have been commissioned at A1, A and C category stations and stations of tourist importance, and another 500 stations shall be made differently able person friendly in the next few years. We are also working on number of service trains on board housekeeping service circuit. We have started 316 toilets for Divyang in A1 station. And sir, to also apprise all my colleague members, I am putting on table this another initiative that we have taken for all the passengers. Sir, member asked me a question about Swachh. Sir, I am very happy to say that our Honorable Prime Minister started a very big important mission, taking inspiration from Mahatma Gandhi to bring in Swachh Bharat in India. So Swachh Bharat has to happen. Then Swachh Rail. So we launched a campaign, Swachh Rail, Swachh Bharat, and I am very happy to say that we have started mechanized cleaning. We also started to buy toilets in a big way. Don't wanted to ask. 18,000 coaches are fitted with bio toilets.
नहीं हमारे रेल का है सुहाना सफर हम देते कांग्रेस वालों को ऑफर.
All other existing coaches, which are 32,000, all other existing coaches of 32,000 will be retrofitted with bio toilets by 2019. So this is something which we are working on, and this is something which are taken as a priority. Rameshwaram to Manamadurai, Mr. Alangwan, it has been, and Porbandar to Ransejalia in Gujarat. We have decided to make it as green train corridor. So on this corridor, there is no human waste discharge. We already started, we will cover more and more, but we have already done that. We already started.
Order please, order please, you listen to this.
Sir,
Order.
my good friends,
No order.
and I have many good friends in Communist Party, so I must address that problem. They asked me about vacancies and other things. So I'm very happy to say that in the last 2.5 years, our total recruitment is 1,08,945 number of people. Are you happy? It has never been done in the previous year. Most of the youth, most of the people have got this, and therefore we conducted this year the largest online examination in the world, because there were a lot of people who were duped, people were taken for a ride in the name of giving jobs. So some people's job was to promise jobs. Some people's job was to cheat others. So we stopped that by doing online examination, the world's largest online examination, and therefore I am very happy to say that we are working on it, and also we are working on a comprehensive human resource policy, which is going to be, there we are also eliminated interviews, we have skill-based initiatives, we are working on good industry relations. You should be happy that I am proud to say that we have excellent, good relations with all our employees. The railway are the largest employees in the country and probably any organization in the world, and still we have the best of relations with them. We work very closely with them, and therefore we are working with them in a proper manner, but to create even better atmosphere, to take care of our employees in a better level, we have started working on a very comprehensive HR policy. Sir, your permission, I would like to place on record HR initiatives of the Indian Railways, which will help people to understand better. We have reorganization of the railway board, which I just mentioned, which you had asked me. Creation of one secretary level post for each department. Transparent policy for posting of higher management like general manager. Delegation of powers to function levels. Transparent transfer policy. Posted direct Group A officers at 10 major railway stations with empowerment to improve passenger experience. Direct outreach to the railway employees leveraging IT technology. I started sending birthday greetings to all the employees of the railways because I feel they are part of my system. And we started a new system called Nivaran. Nivaran means that anybody wants to lodge a complaint can do it online. Sir, it is good for the passengers we do this. Why not we do it for our employees? So any employee having a grievance against the railway officer superior can launch a complaint through the Nivaran. We also Aadhaar partnering for government system. Different railway officers have collected close to 12 lakh Aadhaar numbers, and we are trying to work on that. Sir, the punctuality is a very important issue which many members ask, and in fact I must try to tell you that punctuality is currently 79.95%, which is better. But still, there are some sections. If you go by division-wise punctuality, some divisions also got 100%. But some divisions are bad, like I mentioned. I mentioned upon that 16-17% of network handles 65% traffic. This is bound to happen. So we are working on it.
कई बार हमने देखा है कि शताब्दी एक्सप्रेस आती है बिफोर टाइम, और जैसे ही गाजियाबाद के बॉर्डर पे आती है और दूसरा डिवीजन शुरू होता है, डेलिबरेटली दिल्ली वाले लोग उसको एक घंटे लेट कर देते हैं, ये शो करने के लिए कि हमारा डिवीजन बेहतर काम कर रहा है और ये डिवीजन खराब काम कर रहा है. इस पर भी जरा ध्यान दें.
ये बिल्कुल सही है. देखिए, उसकी वजह मैं भी उसके बारे में देख रहा था. क्या है कि जो एयर ट्रैफिक कंट्रोल में होता है, कुछ फ्लाइट को लैंड करने में समय इसीलिए लगता है कि नीचे पार्किंग एरिया जो सब नहीं होते, तो इसीलिए हमें नई तरह से सोचना होगा. मैं कल बैंगलोर में गया था, तो मैंने वहाँ पे पूछा कि बैंगलोर टू मैसूर और गाड़ियाँ क्यों नहीं छोड़ते हम लोग, तो ऑगमेंटेशन कर दिया. तो बैंगलोर में अभी गाड़ी आ ही नहीं सकती. वही स्थिति एनसीआर की. इतनी गाड़ियाँ एक ही समय आते हैं, तो अंदर आने के लिए उसके समय नहीं. तो इसीलिए नए टर्मिनल बनाने होंगे, उसमें भी थोड़ा समय लगेगा कि लोग काम करें. उसके साथ साथ मैंने उनको कहा है, अभी ये देखते हैं, मेरा सुझाव है इसके लिए डोंट टेक इट एज एन एश्योरेंस, बट क्या हम लोग प्लेटफॉर्म के ऊपर प्लेटफॉर्म बना सकते हैं? क्या हम नीचे जाके प्लेटफॉर्म बना सकते हैं? ये कुछ करना पड़ेगा, नए तरीके से सोचना पड़ेगा. इसके बारे में भी मैंने हमारे रेल के अधिकारियों को कहा है, बात कर मैंने बिल्कुल सही है. तो इसके लिए मैं कह रहा हूँ ये बिल्कुल सही. इसके लिए इस तरह के बारे में कुछ सोचना भी होगा, और ये करने के लिए हमने एक जो बढ़ गया पंक्चुअलिटी, उसकी भी वजह पंक्चुअलिटी सेल है, लेकिन फिर भी आई एम नॉट हैप्पी. मैं भी चाहता हूं कि इसमें और सुधार करना ही चाहिए. साथ साथ में जैसे मैंने कहा था कि हमने मल्टी डिसिप्लिनरी डायरेक्टरेट खोली है, मिशन रफ्तार, और उसमें हम लोग एक कोशिश करें, इसमें लाभ होगा। मुंबई टू दिल्ली और दिल्ली टू कोलकाता जो दो हमारे मेजर रूट्स है, उसकी स्पीड 200 किलोमीटर तक किस तरह से बढ़ाई जा सकती है, इसके लिए काम शुरू हो गया। इसके लिए काम दे दिया बजट में 25,000 करोड़ रुपए की, उसके बारे में हम लोगों ने भी प्रावधान भी किया है। और उसी तरह से स्पेड रेजिंग चेन्नई टू बेंगलोर, मैसूर, दिल्ली, चंडीगढ़, नागपुर, सिकंदराबाद रूट के ऊपर, उसके ऊपर भी हम लोग काम करें। उसी तरह से
बहुत बड़ा टर्मिनल आपने बना दिया है आनंद विहार में। आनंद विहार में एक बना दिया है आपने, काफी लोड कम हो गया है इधर। इसके बावजूद उस गाड़ी को रोकना पड़ता है। हम लोगों को कई बार वहां से गाड़ी मंगानी पड़ जाती है, वहां से आगे पहले आ जाएंगे, ट्रेन बाद में आएगी। ये समस्या है और बहुत प्राइम ट्रेन है आपकी, बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है।
I think the minister should be allowed to complete his reply.
कंट्रोल करता है?
Minister should be allowed to complete his reply.
कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं, माफिया कंट्रोल कर रहे
ठीक है, आप बैठिए।
सर वहाँ इतना अपराधी
Minister, you proceed.
and many of the issues which have
No need of yielding. You can continue.
question which was asked about
No, let him complete.
many members. The question that was asked was
No, please.
the merger,
आप बैठिए।
the merger
आप
of
बैठिए।
railway.
No.
मैं देखता हूँ उसको।
If you start yielding like this, there will be no end to this. No, let him complete the answer. Let him complete the reply. Let him complete.
विभाग में अनुसूचित जाति और पिछड़ी जाति के तमाम रिक्त पद खाली पड़े हुए हैं, हजारों पद खाली पड़े हुए हैं और काफी अरसे से मांग चल रही है कि उन पदों को भरा जाए। क्या उन पदों को भरा जाएगा? कब तक भरेंगे? ये जवाब दें।
यदि आपको याद होगा, अरे प्लीज सर, आई लेट मी कंप्लीट सर दिस सर, यदि आपको याद होगा तो हमने इसके बारे में
please.
हमारे
No, I know it is right. No, please.
कि इतनी वैकेंसी नहीं है।
Honorable Minister, Honorable Minister.
तो सर एक
No, because if you start yielding, every member will have some questions. So therefore, you complete your reply.
Yes. So sir, I am not yielding.
Yeah.
But I am only.
You are a gentleman. That is the problem.
I am yielding to a much larger cause of making railway better.
Yeah.
I am yielding to a much larger cause of ensuring that we will run efficiently. I yield to that. Bypass all of your issues.
Yeah. I
So,
know.
sir, the last point.
Completely man of good intention.
Members
That's the
asked me,
point.
many of them, what is the rationale behind budget merger? तो सर पहले ही आपने भी बोला और आपने कहा कि पहले तो रेल मंत्री आते थे तो वो लगता, तो मैं समझता हूँ उस समय जब लोग, जैसे आपने कहा कि ऐसा एक समय था जब रेल मंत्री आते तो लोग सोचते रेल मंत्री आ रहे हैं, तो उस समय तो रेल की स्थिति बहुत अच्छी होनी चाहिए थी। आज जो समस्या हमें भिड़नी रही है उसके कोई लेन देन नहीं था, तो इसीलिए रेल की समस्या से रेल बजट का कोई ताल्लुकात नहीं। रेल की समस्या को दूर करने के लिए हमें काम करने की जरूरत है और इसीलिए मैं आपको कहना चाहता हूं कि मल्टी मॉडल ट्रांसपोर्ट सॉल्यूशन सब उसको हमने लाना चाहिए और ये बजट की सेपरेट प्रोविजन हमारे संविधान में भी नहीं है। रेलवे रिटेन्स इज फंक्शनल ऑटोनॉमी which can be seen as resources to finance, and this is what finance minister said repeatedly, our prime minister also mentioned. Railways will continue between general finance and rail finance will be maintained, but no longer will be required to pay dividend to the government. And the point that you asked me is a very valid point, public service obligation. Sir, in fact, anywhere in the world, anywhere, all public service obligations have to be borne by the central exchequer. Always. Because if you are rendering a service with a much larger objective of helping people at large, then people, the budget which creates taxes from all large sources must do it. Therefore, even finance minister is also thinking about it. So what we are doing is, the DTI is going to look at it. They are trying to work out a system by which we can be done. But as you correctly said, this is something which needs to be done. Public service obligations have to be set, and if you do that, if you just take public service obligation, you know what will the operating ratio of railways? Which will be in the 70s. So what we are asking question is the railways operating ratio, which many people wanted to know, my good friend has gone, will be substantially improved with this. But I am not only waiting for that. So, but public service officer, I am answering it. We are working on a strategy to increase the revenue from traditional sources by changing policy. By bringing in non-fare revenue into the railway stream, by reducing cost of energy and others, by improving productivity of our employee, and all of this will result into a substantial improvement in the railways over a period of time. But for that, we must be working with a plan which we must execute and work on it steadfastly without keeping any politics into it, which we are trying to do. So I assure you that our focus is development of railways with all the states on board, and be sure that I really pay my tribute to all the former railway ministers. They have also good ideas, they have done their work. We take it forward and try to work together. Let us be co-travelers to make railway better. Let's work together.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.